Psylocke is looking really fresh these days, thanks mostly in part to Peach Momoko's recent incredible redesign of her, as well as the current massive success of the online multiplayer video game Marvel Rivals. But has Peach's redesign been perfect? Do I think that it is a 10 out of 10? Keep listening and watching to find out. But perhaps most importantly, how does Peach's design compare to the legendary Jim Lee's redesign that really helped to catapult Psylocke into this global icon and success story that she has become, and one that has really given her the immense worldwide popularity that she has enjoyed in these past 30-ish years? Let's dive into examine these Jim Lee and Peach Momoko design treasures in even greater detail. Starting with our most recent redesign, which is Peach Momoko's work. Right off the bat, I will say that, for the most part and overall, I do really like it. It's fresh and new, yet does not stray too far from the major themes and elements that have come to so define Psylocke in these past 30 years, since the aforementioned Jim Lee's impressive redesign and repackaging of her. It's significantly different enough to really be its own thing, yet is still familiar enough, too, to keep Psylocke recognizable as Psylocke. In other words, Peach didn't turn Psylocke into Rogue or Jean Grey, with her color palette, design themes, and so on. Psylocke still looks like Psylocke with all the major ideas that she's come to be known by, just really given a massive overhaul that still fits her character and vibe and themes very well. The idea of Psylocke and who she has been these past 30 years are still very much present and there, still in a significant way like they should be. The main colors are still there, the drop-dead ninja sexiness, the Far East mysticism and intriguingness. They're all still there. And those are what she has come to be so known by, and it would have probably been a big disservice at this point in her timeline to remove or to radically alter them. But do I think Peach's redesign has been a perfect 10 out of 10? No. No? You heard that right. No, I don't think it's a perfect 10. It comes close, though. It's got the sexiness and originality and its own uniqueness, while, as mentioned, still keeping so many of the themes and ideas that Psylocke has so come to be recognized and known by. So I will definitely be giving it a solid 9 out of 10. It deserves that much, but it falls just short of that perfect 10 score. So now, what about comparing the new with the old then? How about we measure up the current generation with the previous one? How does Peach's solid redesign compare to that of Jim Lee's iconic look for Psylocke, and arguably her most poppy design to date? Lee's genius design was the minimalistic and simplistic approach, compared to Peach's complex approach at the opposite end of the artistic spectrum, and both can be great and amazing in their own unique and particular ways. But like basically everything in life, it's got to be done right and well for it to work out well. But what made Lee's design so iconic and memorable? Why was it such a home run? First of all, for those of you who might not be so familiar with who Jim Lee is, he is one of the most successful, if not the most successful comic book artist of this past half-century. Lee has been an absolute master illustrator and a genius of a designer and creative mind in the comic book industry, as well as what they call a mover and shaker in the comic books business. So with that out of the way, let's break down this master illustrator's incredible work and one of his most successful designs to date. What did he do to make it work so effectively? How did he achieve such a knockout design for this previously relatively unknown and not as popular comic book character? As alluded to, Lee took the minimalistic approach when redesigning Psylocke. Everything in life seems to happen in cycles, and Jim Lee's subconscious mind must have realized this, because Psylocke's costume design before Lee gave us his take on it was more of the complex and complicated type. And it's not that Jim Lee can't pull off a stunning, awesome, and successful complex design of a character. Just take a look at his Huntress character design, and that will refute that idea immediately. So getting back to Psylocke, what did Lee start with? The foundational piece is that iconic purple leotard of hers. It's super sexy and perhaps a bit too revealing, but it's been a fan favorite nonetheless. But just the leotard alone was going to be too plain and too little. Adding a red sash was a stroke of genius. Sometimes in life, less is more, and when you take that approach, every single design element is that much more weightier and that much more significant, as well as the right one making that much more of an impact and having that much greater significance. And so it all is with this genius work of a minimalistic design approach to this comic book character's outfit. But we are not done yet. A few more pieces are still missing to top it all off. As Psylocke, like just about any other human being out there, has a couple of arms and a couple of legs. What's more, and as a great big detail to not be overlooked, Psylocke is a tall and leggy woman with very attractive and slender arms, as well as those shapely and never-ending legs. So adding the sleeves, arm and leg bands, and leggings were the perfect additions to complement that body type of hers, along with that ingenious leotard and sash combo, to complete that super sexy and brilliant minimalistic design for her. With all those things in place, Psylocke is now finally ready to rock our world and to knock our socks off with that insanely super sexy and perfectly fitting outfit of hers, literally and figuratively. So, what do I score Jim Lee's costume design of Psylocke? And keeping in mind of it being with a minimalistic approach, Lee's design for this particular Kwannon/Psylocke comic book character gets a perfect 10 out of 10 from me. It has been the work of an absolute artistic and creative genius, as well as a comic book's illustrator legend.